What if God took everything from you and left you with only grief and hunger, and the only way to survive was to leave a good friend behind? Would you stay loyal to your friend who has nothing left to offer you? No money, no home, no protection, and no promise that life would ever get better? Or would you walk away to save at least yourself, because staying would probably mean starving to death? Today's story is exactly about this kind of situation. It's a story about a woman who had to make an impossible choice, a choice that later changed the future of the entire world, because it led to the bloodline of Jesus Christ himself. This is the epic story of a woman named Ruth. Our story begins in Bethlehem during the time of the Judges, around 1200 to 1100 before Christ. This was one of the darkest and most chaotic times in Israel's history. There was no king in Israel. Different tribes lived separately, and wars, fear, and suffering were common. Today, Bethlehem is famous as the birthplace of Jesus. But long before that, a terrible famine struck the land. Crops failed, food became scarce, people were desperate. A man named Elimelech lived there with his wife Naomi, and their two sons Mahlon and Chilion. Because of the famine, the family decided to leave Bethlehem and travel east across the Jordan River into the land of Moab. Moab was not an Israelite land, and the Moabites had a long and difficult history with Israel. Israelites looked down on them, so in those days it was considered shameful for an Israelite family to settle in Moab. But hunger leaves people with hard choices, so Elimelech and his family settled there. But then, tragedy struck. Elimelech died, and as a result, Naomi and her sons were suddenly left alone in a foreign land. But the family stayed in Moab, and after some time, Mahlon and Chilion married Moabite women. One was named Orpah, the other was named Ruth. But then, after about 10 years, tragedy struck again. Both Mahlon and Chilion got sick and died too, and Ruth and Orpah became widows just like Naomi. 3 women standing in grief with no clear future ahead. In that ancient world, this was terrifying, because in that time, women depended on male relatives for protection, income, and survival. But Naomi had no male relative in Moab, so she decided to go back to Bethlehem because the famine there had ended. Food had returned to the land, and Ruth and Orpah, they decided to leave with her. But somewhere on the road between Moab and Judah, Naomi stopped and turned to her daughters-in-law and said,
"Go back, each of you, to your mother's home. May the Lord show kindness to you, as you have shown kindness to the dead and to me."
Hearing this, both women cried loudly. They did not want to leave her. But Naomi believed she had nothing left to offer Ruth and Orpah. Even if she somehow married that same night and had sons, the women would have to wait years for them to grow up. So Naomi tried again and explained to them,
"The Lord's hand has turned against me. Return home, my daughters. Why would you come with me? Am I going to have more sons who could become your husbands?"
And again, the women cried, but one of them, Orpah, finally agreed. Then she kissed Naomi goodbye and returned to Moab. But Ruth, she stayed. Naomi tried to push her to also go back, but Ruth then spoke the words that would make her famous forever.
"Do not urge me to leave you or to turn back from you. Where you go, I will go. Your people will be my people, and your God, my God. Where you die, I will die, and there I will be buried."
It was a powerful promise. Ruth was choosing loyalty over safety, and Naomi realized that Ruth would not change her mind. So the two women continued together toward Bethlehem. Before we move on with the story, let me ask you this. What would you have done? Would you have stayed with Naomi, even with no future waiting for you? Because honestly, this choice is harder than it seems. Write it in the comments. I really want to know. Okay, now, let's continue the story. They arrived in Bethlehem at the beginning of the barley harvest. The whole town was stirred. People recognized Naomi and called her by her name, but Naomi, beaten by life, refused.
Do not call me Naomi, which means pleasant. Call me Mara instead, which means bitter. Because the Almighty has made my life very bitter.
Everybody around felt Naomi's pain, but the harvest would soon change Naomi's and Ruth's lives forever. At that time in Israel, poor people were allowed to follow behind harvesters and collect leftover grain from the fields. This law existed to help widows, foreigners, and the poor survive. So one day, Ruth went into the fields to gather grain. She entered a field belonging to a wealthy man named Boaz, a man of standing, who by chance was from the family line of Elimelech. When Boaz arrived, he immediately noticed Ruth, so he asked the overseer who she was, and the overseer told him that she had returned from Moab with Naomi, instead of leaving Naomi behind and searching for a new husband. Boaz was impressed, and as a sign of this, he spoke kindly to Ruth.
My daughter, listen to me. Do not go and glean in another field. Stay here with the women who work for me.
He also told her that he had warned the men not to touch or harm her, and invited her to drink water from the jars the workers used. And Ruth, she was surprised. Grateful, she bowed low before him and asked,
Why have I found such favor in your eyes that you notice me, a foreigner?
So he told her that he had heard what she had done for Naomi and said,
May the Lord repay you for what you have done. May you be richly rewarded by the Lord, the God of Israel, under whose wings you have come to take refuge.
Later, during mealtime, Boaz even invited Ruth to eat with the workers, and he secretly ordered his men to leave extra grain behind for her. When Ruth returned to Naomi that night, with that large amount of barley, Naomi was shocked. Ruth explained that the field belonged to Boaz, and for the first time in a long while, Naomi felt hope again. She explained to Ruth that Boaz was one of their guardian redeemers. In ancient Israel, a guardian redeemer was a relative who could protect a struggling family, buy back lost property, or marry a widow to continue the family line. So Naomi created a hopeful plan and instructed Ruth what to do. And Ruth, she agreed. Then came the day. At night, after Boaz finished eating and drinking at the threshing floor, Ruth secretly approached him while he slept. She uncovered his feet and lay down there. Then around midnight, Boaz woke up startled, seeing a woman lying near him, and not immediately recognizing her in the dark. He asked her who she was, and Ruth smiled and answered boldly,
I am your servant Ruth. Spread the corner of your garment over me, since you are a guardian redeemer of our family.
This was not simply romance. It was a request for protection, for marriage, and restoration. And Boaz praised Ruth for her loyalty and kindness. But there was a problem. Another relative was even closer to Naomi's family than Boaz was. Legally, that man had the first right to redeem the family. So the next day, Boaz gathered elders and witnesses at the town gate of Bethlehem, where legal matters were handled publicly, and offered the closer relative the right to redeem Naomi's land. At first, the man agreed, but after realizing that redeeming the land also meant marrying Ruth, the man changed his mind, because additional heirs could reduce his current children's inheritance. So he gave up his right, and according to the custom of that time, he removed his sandal and handed it over to Boaz as a public sign of agreement. And then, Boaz announced before the witnesses that he would marry Ruth.
Today you are witnesses that I have acquired Ruth the Moabite as my wife.
And the people, they were happy for them and blessed them. Soon Ruth and Boaz were married, and Ruth later gave birth to a son named Obed. The women of Bethlehem celebrated that day with Naomi. And when Naomi, who once believed she had lost everything, held the baby in her arms for the first time, all the women of Bethlehem celebrated with her that day, as a sign that God had not left her alone. At that time, they did not know it yet, but this baby, Obed, was not just a grandson, but the future heir of the most important bloodline in the Bible. Because Obed later became the father of Jesse, and Jesse became the father of King David, and generations later, Jesus Christ himself would come from that same family line. A foreign widow from Moab, a woman many people may have ignored or rejected, became part of the most important bloodline in the entire Bible. Well, that's it for today. Our story reminds us that loyalty matters. Sometimes the smallest acts of faith have the power to change history forever. If you also want to show some loyalty today, please consider subscribing and leaving a like. Your support truly means the world to us. And as a small thank you, here's an even more epic story for you.